I'm in the gray area. People believe I'm too white to be black and too black to be white. Black people think I'm too emotional to be a black man, and white people think I'm too much of a thug to be friends with them. The hardships of a diverse black man are never talked about. We get taunted by everyone and loved by nearly no one. The gray area is a great but cruel place. It is a place where I can cross different worlds when I please and have many different friends. The only bad thing about crossing these worlds is that not everyone will accept you. It's a big price to pay to be a part of the gray area, but I'm okay with that. I take a step into this area and now I've made it my own.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Great job. For the folks that are just tuning in, listening, Sway just went through his senior speech. Wanted to touch base with it because it was such an awesome job. And also, while we're here, just shout out to Nick Johnson, one of your co or your teammates, one, and as well as your schoolmate. I just gave a shout out on live stream and just said that was the best speech we had ever had this year. So I appreciate that, Nick. Thanks a lot. And quite honestly, I mean, it's one of the best speeches that I've heard from a young man in a very long time. The courageousness it took for you to kind of sit up there and talk about some subjects that may be taboo. I don't even want to say taboo, but just don't get talked about often. But I had great conversation with some of the parents afterwards. We're just giving kudos to you about having the courageousness, loving the fact that the platform that Boys Latin, of course, presents for their students in order to talk about the things that they're tapped into and what they're feeling. And all four of you guys, yourself and the other three counterparts included, they were conversations and speeches about their self, their anxiety, things that they had to deal with that even parents didn't know about. Your mom and I didn't know that you had to deal with that from your significant other's grandfather, right? But it was such a just a great topic to be able to address, and I was so happy that you were able to do that. And when I looked around at the crowd, it seemed like everybody else was too. What were some of the responses that you got from your, I don't know, staff or your teachers or
Oh yeah,
your counterparts?
everybody was definitely pleased that I had talked about that topic. Before we had left for Lock Haven, I was greeted with kudos. Like that was like thank you for that, because again, it doesn't get talked about a lot, and I feel like a lot of teachers that are very adamant about people that are in the black community as well that go through that, or in that are white, that also like are very much adamant and close with black people. They don't get talked about as much either, because especially in my school, like it's like a little iffy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But but my school actually does a great job with uh like connecting with one another, especially coming up soon. Like we go on a senior retreat and we connect.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of people will understand a lot about each other. But this speech took a lot
Sure.
out of me. Like I remember writing an essay about this topic in junior year, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Because writing that essay, my teacher read the essay, gave me, I think a 99, because like we can't really get an 100, but
It's always 1% of improvement.
yeah, and she told me she cried, and
Wow.
and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like to see the emotion that
There was a lot of emotion there when you
Yeah.
read that speech. It wasn't just her. It wasn't just your mom. It wasn't just me. It was a lot of self reflection and awakeness. Some of the things that you said in your speech, I could feel and sense that people were in their own minds and thinking about themselves and how they are,
yeah,
which was super powerful.
because like sometimes people say these things and they don't think it comes off as wrong.
Yeah.
But in the back of the person's mind, it's like, oh, why does he think that? Like, am I supposed to be something else? You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like this speech, like I wanted this to be an educational type of thing.
Sure.
Not a tell a story, but an educational piece. So like, I let them know like, hey, if you do this, check it.
Right.
Like check yourself before you do anything else.
Right.
Because people could take that in many different ways. That could get like the comments and everything could alter someone's perspective of that person.
Sure.
But when I talk about maturity and like, especially coming from this,
Yeah.
having to speak that to y'all, like was Like, it was uplifting. Like, as I was reading it, I was getting more and more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, I was shaking. Like, it was tough. But
And like the weight of the world was being released off of your shoulders,
Yeah.
something that needed to be talked about, you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about, and as you were conversing, it felt like